What up? What up? What's up, cuz?
You? What it do?
Roy. All right, so we get right into it. Want to talk about the Young Jeezy Jeannie Mai situation. And the reason I wanted to touch on this one, because I feel like this perfectly sums up the things that a man has to worry about before he considers marriage. No matter how wonderful the woman may seem beforehand, no matter what she's done for him, when he was at the bottom, whatever, these are the things that he has to worry about, once he obtains some money and status and he enters that legal marriage contract with the woman. Are y'all familiar with what's going on?
Nope. What's happening?
So long story short, for whatever reason, all the details are not out, but he was unhappy and he filed for divorce. And since he's filed for divorce, she's clearly, gotten a lawyer and everything. And the stereotypical accusations that happens, it seems like with every black man going through a divorce has come out, I'm scratch that. I'm not even gonna say every black man, every man, period, it seems like.
She's afraid, he's violent, he's irresponsible.
Exactly.
He's a drug
weird
addict.
Hours.
Yeah.
He got random people around my child.
Yep. That's it.
We know the play.
That's it. And and to the T, she's sticking to the script, but I think she said that he is not fit to be a parent. He's an unfit parent. But was he a fit parent when y'all were together? So as soon as he decides he don't want to be with you anymore, all of a sudden he's not fit. He doesn't love his kid enough to be a fit parent.
Wow.
He was a good man while he wanted to be with you.
Oh, even I got one better for you. He was a good man to sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Unprotected.
That's it. And of course, you got the hair hats. They going in talking about how, well, Jeezy, we told you, you thought you were doing something by marrying outside the race. My thing is this, if you think you're in love, you're in love. That don't, race shouldn't play a role in that as far as I'm concerned. Happiness is happiness. But at the end of the day, it's a risk no matter what you do or who you do it with. When you enter that marriage contract, that's a risk you take.
100%. Well, I mean, it's a business dealing, right?
Exactly.
That's really what it is.
So it's like this. It should be outlined. This is what I'm willing to accept. These are my deal breakers, and vice versa. I mean, it really could be really simple. You're just honoring what you agreed to.
In our society, that's looked down upon. Marriage is about love. If it was about love, I wouldn't have to sign a contract.
Yeah. But she's in the playbook, right now I think we're getting allegations of domestic violence now.
Of course.
And I would like to question that seriously. And this is just for any woman who might be listening. Why, if you're being domestically abused, and apparently this is a woman of means, so the whole thing of like financial abuse or whatever, I feel doesn't really apply here. If you're being domestically abused, why is he the one filing divorce first?
That's a good question.
And like I'm not bashing. I'm being dead serious on that. Like I'm not even trying to clown. Like I would love for a woman to get into the chat and like answer that for me. Like what would make you stay, especially someone of her perceived status? Because from what I gather, she has her own money. She's not financially dependent on him. So if it was all that and he was, doing all that to her, why didn't you dip?
Easy. That's the game. Once you find the paperwork, now it's EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's like that's part of the playbook, man. You know what I mean? So the first thing they want to do, it's amazing how
they all play out the same.
They don't even have to communicate with each other. or study each other's moves to know how to go in and play the game, or even watch discussions about it like this. They just innately know if I want to garner sympathy, I have to show that I was being abused in some way. Yep. It's a sympathy play. You know what I mean? Off rip.
But and I'm gonna switch it up a tad bit. So what I want to ask y'all, man, is this: how complicit are the lawyers in this? Like, do you think that the lawyers say, hey, well, you really don't have a case, but if you feel abused, or if you feel afraid for your life, that would greatly increase your chances of coming out with a favorable settlement? Because
that's what it's about.
That's a good question. I didn't even consider the lawyers telling them to go in that direction.
Yeah, because I think that's exactly what they do.
That's the thing about lawyers. They get paid more the longer stuff progress. The more the longer we gotta be in court, the more court appearances, the more paperwork that gotta be filed. I get paid more. It's a financial gain for them to make sure that y'all are at odds.
Look, I tell you what, if I was a lawyer, I would want it, it's like my man said, to be drawn out as long as possible. You know what I mean? And especially if I know the person that we're suing has money, right? And my check is pretty much pre-written. I just got to draw it out, right? And make sure and give her a winning argument in order to get a bigger settlement myself. I mean, so why wouldn't I be complicit in her demands and some if I'm benefiting from it?
I actually went into a lawyer meeting with one of my junior Marines, female Marine, when I was working on the air wing in Camp, not in Camp Lejeune, but in what's that air station down the street from Camp Lejeune? It's connected to Camp Johnson.
It's you talking about from Cherry Point?
Not Cherry Point. It's right beside Geiger. It's where Camp Geiger is.
I don't know. It's in Carolina, though.
Yeah, it's in Carolina. Right? So this is my first time working with female Marines, and she was going through a divorce. I was her direct NCOIC, so I took her to her appointment with a lawyer. She said, "You come in." Now the lawyers don't tell them what to say, but they also say stuff like this. Now, if certain stuff was going on, like domestic abuse and things of that nature, we probably get a larger compensation based off of that. I don't know if that's going on in yours. He's spoon feeding her.
That's it.
Without telling her, you need to say this.
That's it.
Now she might lie, but he ain't tell her to lie. But they start conjuring up things like, I can get spousal support on top of the child support. I can get full custody with him having supervised visits. I can pretty much control this man after it's over.
Yeah. And I blame them both because the lawyers are supposed to, I guess, would that be considered the lawyer?
Is he really wrong for that? I'm supposed to give my client the best information to make sure that she gets what he or she gets what they want in the end. He ain't wrong for telling her that.
That's a good question.
Wrong. She's wrong or he's wrong for taking the advice and then trying to use it to slander another person.
Going through with the lie. Yeah. Because I'm not well versed in the law, especially in divorce law, obviously, but I wonder if that would even fall under yeah, you can have that one. I don't want to know. But I would wonder if a lawyer failed to tell them that stuff, would it fall under them not meeting their fiduciary duty, or however you call it, trying to do the best they can for their client.
Yeah, like I said, that's his job. His job is to inform her of everything that happens in a marriage that happened to you, that you might be, because this is what you're entitled to if these things happen. So he has to go through the whole rigmarole of the whole scenario. But then he's not a bad person, because guess what? Some people do get abused in marriages. Some people do get misused, do get cheated on, and things of this nature. But it becomes that person. You see the evil in the people once they get the information and what they do with it. Yeah. Now, if it happens, God forbid that it does happen to anybody, I would never want it to happen to anybody. They're not wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's not wrong. But if you just come up with some shit.
Yeah. And that's the thing. My thing is this: if you're being abused in the relationship, I feel like a lawyer is not going to have to remind you to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? More often than not, more often than not, that's going to be the reason why you're there.
That's the first thing they do, though. The moment that you go into the divorce, like even when I went through mine, the first thing they do is tell you, they go through it's almost like a checklist. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might get a car, you work on a vehicle. I'm going to military stuff, but when you wasn't in Motor T, you still had to do motor stables, which is vehicle maintenance. There's a whole checklist of things that they go down. That's exactly what they do with the lawyers.
Gotcha.
Was there any abuse? Was there any infidelity? Outside kids, things of this nature. They go through this whole checklist, and the only thing that goes in their head is boom, 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 light bulb here, light bulb here, of not actualities of situations, but just I got plots now on you. I'm scheming.
Morals have no place in a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what?
What's up, cuz?
I do believe it's immoral for the lawyer to start bringing up things that their client didn't mention, right? I think that's kind of fucked up to kind of suggest and kind of plant seeds into their mind of possible allegations to raise, whether they're true or not, right? So when we go seek legal advice, we know exactly what we're seeking them for.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I kind of feel as though if they didn't hint at these things, maybe they shouldn't be brought up or mentioned.
The lawyer is the devil. The client is the demon that carry out the like, for instance, the devil is amused. All I do is give you the thought. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that.
But the demon comes up with the plot to do everything. So is he really wrong? Really, he's just the devil's, like, I'm the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you some shit. It's up to you to do it or not.
You know, they give you the nod and the wink, you know what I'm saying?
You know what else is crazy? As a man, when we go in and we give our side, even to our lawyers,
They be looking at you.
they don't give us alternative things or things we can add or mention. From my experience, it was only based on what I brought up and what I said.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say, you can add this. Have you thought about that? And da. It was everything I brought to the table, and she expanded upon that. I wasn't giving any other ideas. Yeah. But so why aren't men giving those things as well?
You there, cuz?
Yeah. We still.
Oh, my bad. I thought your mic went out for a second.
Yeah, a little technical difficulties.
Nah. I was just saying, you beat me to it, man, because I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, if I wonder if I've ever been a man sitting in the courtroom, or sitting in the lawyer's office doing a consultation, whatever, and has a lawyer ever come up to the man and said, "Hey, well, did she beat your ass?" You know what I'm saying? Like, did she financially abuse you? Exactly. Yeah. And I could be wrong.
It's easier for a lawyer to advocate for a female in a divorce because when y'all go through the process of the separation, where are the kids at? Who usually leaves the house? Who usually got to start over? Who's usually sending money and not getting anything back in return for it? Like, my kid's in this house. She needs $5. We don't even have a agreement. But I still got to make sure my so it's easy to advocate for her when they get into these litigation situations because you fighting an uphill battle. I'm trying to get custody. I'm trying to get some type of custody order. I'm trying to get some type of child support agreement, or if you got children, you know what I'm saying. And not only that, but who's protected in America, who's not. Females are protected in America. So when they give their testimony, you're automatically fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, exactly. You're going against the grain. You're fighting years of conditioning, and programming, and family court abuse, whatever you want to call it, man. Yeah, you're fighting all of that.
You're proven innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no we both on this situation. Like, it's not once an allegation goes in the air, it's in the air. I mean, and even if you're proven guilty, the fact that it came out, you're still gonna get persecuted for it.
Yeah.
Because some people will just automatically lean to that because the story came out.
So that's interesting. I'm curious as to where Jeezy is in his case right now. Is it already settled? Is it over or
no? I think what happened was that, and that was another reason, man, I wanted to talk about it, because like I say, it could almost be a case study for the BS that men got to go through. Because I think they're saying now that they had a parenting agreement that she has not honored. And I think he's seen his kids, like, don't quote me on this, but I think he said like he's seen the kids like 8 times in the past year or something like that.
Wow, that's a no-go.
You know, like that's crazy. But this man was just fine as a parent until the divorce papers came through. And then on top of that, you know, they're also saying that he my bad, what was he saying? She's accused him of domestic violence. She's accused him of cheating. And, you know, you're doing all these things. But once again, why did he file for divorce first? If you were the victim, why did he file for divorce first?
And he left you there. And then went about his business. But I heard he didn't even leave, though. I heard they were still staying in the same house.
Yeah. I think the original agreement
that was the only way he really felt that he can see his kids.
Children.
Was if, you know what I'm saying, at least I'll stay around for the kids. But
hey,
I don't want you to.
But this is all allegedly, but this is how shiesty they saying she is. That was the agreement. He was living in the basement. He'd get up one day, Shorty and the kid gone. She just left the residence.
I wonder, statistically, what's the math on how often this happens to men, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I experienced this with my oldest son, not having access to him initially, right? My brother here experienced it, right?
Special needs son.
With his child, right? Different state, mind you. There's North Carolina. This is Virginia. I got another brother, former NFL player, experiencing the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Not having access to his children as often as he would like, right? And it's like they weaponize the children. I wonder how often that happens and how often it goes unnoticed and what's what I'm looking for?
All the time.
Yeah.
Unnoticed, and there's aren't any repercussions for it.
Exactly. None.
What's the math on it? You think it's what 4 every 3 and 4, or 9 and 10, or 10 and 10?
I think it's more about 8.7 out of 10.
No, honestly, yeah, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 80 to 90%. And it might not. I'm sure it's vary on the degrees of, you know, the parental alienation and, you know, keeping the kid away from the father. I'm sure, you know, the degree in which they do that varies. But as far as you had to ask me how often it happened, I would say 8 to 9 out of 10.
Do you know what's funny? Know the next thing that happened after, you know, they keep the child away from you? They say that you don't know the child to be around you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the playbook, man. It's the playbook. It's like, the little baby mama playbook.
You kept it away from me. Now you're saying that I don't know the child because you made a decision.
True. Well, yeah, man. Just to tie this up and end this, man. I want to say this, man. I'm gonna let y'all how y'all find the thoughts, man. But just talking about this, it brings me to something. I find it funny how women can say, "Hey, you should have fought for your child." Like it's just so easy. It costs money.
I'm fight for nothing now. I'm gonna have to like this thing with me because I'm in that situation. I'm really in that situation. I spent over $50,000 on a custody case, going back and forth, putting the attempts of courts in. You know, every time you get a child's custody lawyer, it's $5 off the rip.
Yeah.
Just for to retain them, and then if you got multiple visits, you got to pay extra money for their time in there, or whatever the case may be. After doing that for 5 years, and I said, you know, I'm still like, as far as financially, I take care of the household because I know what the rent is. You know what I'm saying? So I know that this money takes care of this whole household. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, it gives you shelter and take care of the bills. You work, you provide your lifestyle, whatever the case may be, but this is what takes care of this. I ain't fighting after that. If you don't want me to be in my child's life, I'm gonna make another one.
Yeah. But like I think the laws need to change, man, because like they're quick to throw that in men's face saying, hey, why don't you fight for your child? First of all, when in this country did men or fathers become secondary parents?
In the 60s.
Think about that. Like, do I not have just as much right to my child as a mother does?
When welfare came in and they gave them an option.
Hey, we ain't gonna go down that path because that's another hour. I'm just proposing this for the people who might be listening. Think about that. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, how much money does it take to fight? And keeping in mind that most of the time the man is responsible for his attorney's fees and the woman's attorney fees.
Yeah, and mind you,
with that BS.
And here's something that you might not even thought of. Usually, by the time this happens, the man is already under a child support order. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing that happens, right? So I'm paying X amount of my salary and child support, which creates a huge deduction in my bring home pay, right? And I'm paying a lawyer to represent me, because if I don't have a lawyer, my chances of having a fair trial is slim next to none.
Facts.
And if we had a home together, I'm still paying for all of those bills and mortgages for you to live. So all the expenses are on my shoulders or on the man's shoulders. It's for some people who have a limited amount of income, low income, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible for them to fight for their child. It's almost, where they gonna get the money? Where they gonna rob a bank?
Yeah.
How they gonna get it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with that being said, that in itself shows the biasness of the current system that
that's why when you see a man with custody and he's a single father, or you know what I'm saying, like you have to really understand, not just salute him, but you really got to make the child know, like, you being in this situation, I fought for this situation.
Yeah.
I fought for this.
Yeah.
I went hard for this. I lost sleep. I shed tears over this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got ridiculed. I did a lot of stuff for this situation to happen. You know, like, because, like I said, once the baby's born, it's the mother's. You know what I'm saying? Unless y'all have something worked out beforehand. You know, it's always mother's baby, father's maybe.
Man, look, my last word is this. I live in my mama's basement. Ain't no way in hell I can fight that battle.
No.
You know what I mean? She just have to keep getting this $25 a month. That's all I got, man.
But it's a messed up game, unfortunately.
But on that note, man, we wish Jeezy well, because fathers are important. No need to even say that anymore. If you don't believe that, you're just lying to yourself. And on that note, we out.
Good luck, brother. Peace.